everyone, and welcome to today's webinar from Accra, Ghana. I'm your moderator, Ingrid, and we are delighted to have you all here despite your busy schedules. Thank you for taking the time to join us today as we talk about the importance of brand and its role in the media mix. Be aware that the chat box is open for questions and comments, which can be found below your screen. And don't hesitate to raise your hand at any time. Prior to the exposition of today's theme, I would like to briefly state that becoming a member of the Global Chamber Accra allows you to gain access to millions of customers, partners, and trusted connections in Ghana. We are the only organization in Ghana with hundreds of locations outside of the country that supports attraction and exporting efforts. Our network of over 40 million trusted connections is a key asset to companies looking to grow. I would like to encourage all those exempt from the Global Tribe to reach out to our wonderful and competent Executive Director, Ms. Ruby Golo, or myself, and we will be very, very happy to introduce to you the benefits that the Global Chamber entails. Now, there is no one better to give insights into the Global Chamber than our founder and CEO, Mr. Doc Bronke, who is one of the most committed men I have encountered in helping regional companies be more global and successful. So, Mr. Doc, please, the floor is yours.
Well, thank you very much, Ingrid. I really appreciate it. What does XMA stand for, or XWA, was it? Let's see, XWA. It sounds like a rapper.
Yes, sorry. Well, we might do a little bit of that. You are giving me an idea there, but it's for expand in West Africa.
Ah, okay. Okay, very good, which is it's a worthy goal. So whether it's expanding in West Africa, in Ghana specifically, or broader, as the lady behind me is doing from Africa into the Americas or Europe or Asia, international business is risky. And business is generally risky to find clients, to find talent, to find and fine-tune your products and services. So when I started Global Chamber, I recognized that there was risk, but I also recognized, as I think hopefully all of you do, that the opportunities of doing business across the country and across the border are significant. It's worth the risk. But what makes it easier and better is working with what we call the Global Tribe, people who are professional and honest and ethical, and the undervalued sometimes, easy to work with. It's so wonderful to work with people like Ruby and with Ingrid, where it's easy. You have a common dialogue. There's a level of trust there, and that's what we work on every day, to build that level of trust across borders. It makes business so much easier. So thank you for putting today's program on. I'm actually spent a lot of my career in marketing and in branding. I'm a chemical engineer originally, which is definitely not very marketing oriented, but nobody wanted a particular job in the Teflon business when I worked for DuPont to do business development in Asia. And that got me out of a technical area and more into business and marketing the Teflon business. Many of you have unique, interesting stories as well, that where you've started in a particular area and you've gone somewhere else. We encourage that, we support that, and we encourage members and to grow, and we encourage non-members to consider being part of the Global Tribe. So I look forward to listening and learning in today's conversation. Thank you, Ingrid, for the opportunity to say a few words at the beginning. And thank you, Ruby, for all that you do. Uh-oh, I see a frozen Ingrid. So is it my problem, or is it
Ingrid, are you there? It appears she's frozen. I'll step in and I will go ahead and introduce our first speaker.
Great.
Fenella McCarthy, CEO of a UK-based brand and communication agency called Housebrands. She will present on the importance of having a strong brand in organizational success, and we will explore strong brands, what they are, and their role in creating a strong and effective marketing strategy. She will also talk about how to create your own strategy cost effectively with the help of their unique brand and marketing development tools. What's your purpose? So on this note, I'll call on Fenella. Please take the floor.
Hello, thank you very much. It's great to be here. I'm really delighted you asked me to present. I will just share screen. We've practiced, so this should work very smoothly. Here we go. We never know. Are you seeing my screen? Oh.
Yes.
Sorry, I'm just the typical phone rings. Right. Oh, how can I get rid of that? Let's get rid of that. Right. So the importance of a brand and how to create a strong one in a few short slides. Oh, next. Where's my next button? Ooh. Ah, there we go. Oh, okay. Let me take you up there. Successful businesses are aligned. And I think one of my bugbears is that brand is often misunderstood and undervalued. And we all live in a world where everybody is told when you start up a business, you need a business plan. You know, what are you going to take in the first year? What market share are you going to take? What are you going to do in 18 months, 5 years? What are your financial ambitions? Yes, there's a little bit about who your target audience is, but it doesn't really tell you how you're going to achieve that. And that is where your brand strategy or your brand definition comes in. The two, and in strong businesses, they really do work side by side, hand in hand. They're totally aligned. You have your business plan, which is what you're going to do, and your brand plan or strategy, which is how you're going to make this happen. What are you going to say to your audiences? How are you going to communicate with them? How are you going to stand out in the marketplace? So this is what we do on a daily basis in our business, Housebrands. We help organizations develop strong brands because that is what is the foundation of a successful business. I have to do the next thing, sorry. Which is as the US organization Forbes knows only too well. And this quote really sums it up. You know, your brand is the single most important investment you can make in your business. Because without your brand, without having a strong brand, you are making your life much harder, and you're going to make it much harder to be successful. So I think that really begs the question, what is a brand? And this is another one of my bugbears. The brand is often misunderstood or misused. People often think it's a logo. A brand is not a logo. So, you know, we see the Apple sign there. We know that's Apple. Nowadays, we can really put a lot of meaning into that. We know it's all about function and form, about innovation, intuitive learning. It's on the customer's side, but it's beautifully designed. But when the logo first came out, it was just an apple. It was colored as well, but that's a different point. But, you know, and it didn't have meaning. It identified Apple as a company. It was an identifier for it, but it didn't have much significance. And it's all the other work that is done over time, the messages, the advertising, the PR, the customer relations, which help to build up and add meaning to a brand. So a logo is really the significant, you know, the identifier for a brand. It just says this is this brand, and you do pump meaning into it, but a brand is much more than a logo. So what is a brand? Well, our definition is a brand is a promise, and a promise that must be kept. So what I'm saying to you when I offer you my brand, I'm offering you a product or a service, a set of values, a set of benefits which are unique to us and should fit in with your need. And as a brand, I have to always make sure that I deliver those benefits. And there's a great example from the UK of a jewelry store. It's quite an old story now, but it was a guy called Gerald Ratner. He had a chain of high street jewelry shops which sold gold and silver jewelry, but it was sort of mass produced at a high street price. And he was asked, it did very well, you know, people could afford it. But when he was asked on a radio show if he'd be buying some of this for his wife's birthday, he said, no, I wouldn't give my wife that tat. Well, his brand died overnight. He had to leave the business. It was sold. It was rebranded under another name because he was promising great jewelry at a high street price, but actually he didn't believe that. There was no authenticity or genuineness in it. So it's really important that if you do have a promise, if you do have a brand which is making a promise to your customers, to your target audiences, that you really hold to that and you live that. And that's why it's so important. A brand is a promise that must be kept. And this is the analogy we use for a brand. We look at it like a tree. So you have the tree above the surface, and what we see is whether the tree is tall or short, whether it's got glossy leaves or red ones or green or what color green, whether it's got fruits or flowers. And that's how we see the tree. But the tree, that is all determined by the DNA of the tree in its root system, which is burying underground usually, and finding the minerals and defining what that tree will look like. And it's exactly the same with a brand. The brand definition is the DNA of your brand. It says who you are, what makes you different, what your key messages are, what you're about, why you're different from your consumers, what makes you special. And it determines how your brand looks, so what your brand identity is, what your marketing commercials are like, what communications are like, what color palette you use, what imagery, how it speaks, your key messages, what you want your consumers to know and what they should know about your brand, your offer, and also how it acts, your values. What do you stand for? So it's all determined by the brand definition. So for us, a brand is the sum of those parts. It's the brand definition, which is the DNA of the brand, which determines how people interact with it, because it determines how it looks, acts, and speaks. And this is important because the brand, this is the clear definition. Sorry, I haven't shown you this yet. This is our definition. When you go to a pile of marketing people in a room, you'll get very many different definitions. They're all ultimately doing the same thing. This is ours. We have a vision, which is what are you trying to achieve over and above the financial aspects. A vision isn't about I want to be a multimillionaire. A vision is about I want to create a world where, for example, there's no Alzheimer's if you're an Alzheimer's charity. And how are you going to realize that vision is your mission. So I'm going to work with products and services to make sure that that we find a cure for Alzheimer's. Your values are very important, and in fact are becoming increasingly important because more organizations are looking at values as a way of hiring staff, because what we find is if employers and employees have shared values, then the attrition level, people leaving, is much reduced. People stay longer, they tend to work harder, and they feel much more aligned with the company, and therefore profitability goes up. The proposition is, this is the overriding benefit. All brands have to have benefits, all offers, both rational and emotional, and sometimes sensorial if you're dealing with sort of women's cosmetics or perhaps even tourism or food. And it's about the benefits that you offer to your target audience. And a proposition often becomes a strapline. For example, L'Oreal, because I'm worth it, is a really good example. It's giving the promise that that organization is going to do the best for them because they really value you and you should value yourself. Personality, that's about the tone of voice. And I think Odelia will be talking about how you implement that a bit in her session, because it's very much the tone of voice that you want to get across in your marketing materials and communications. And then finally, reasons to believe. Now, a lot of people don't value these, but we think they're incredibly important because they make sure that your brand definition, as in your mission, vision, values, proposition, and personality, are based on reality, because they're fundamental truths about your business. and your organization and your people and your brand and your offer, which you can say, which allow you to have this clear definition. So it stops it being pure fantasy and roots it in reality. And what that will do is dictate all your action, both internal, if you've got people, how you train your staff, how you recruit them, how you engage them, plus all your external communications and marketing initiatives, whether that's the website, printed material, promotion, sponsorship, advertising, all should be singing from the same song sheet, because marketing is all about having clear, consistent, and compelling messaging. And if you have chaotic, very different messages on different days, all you do is you confuse your target audience and they don't align with you very well. So when you've done your brand strategy, it gives you the basis for your marketing strategy, your brand story or narrative, the elevator pitch, what you can define your business as in a very short sentence between 2 floors of a lift, the key messages, what you need to communicate to engage with your target audiences, the truths and points about your brand, which are really important, your strap line, and then the brief for all your communications, including your look and feel, which would be your brand identity, your name, the strap line, color palette, typography, imagery. So it's really important. The earlier you do this, the better it is, because then you're having clarity and focus throughout your communications and marketing initiative. So where do you start? That's the big question. How do you create this unique definition? Well, there's a classic way, which is what we do in Housebrands. You hire consultants like this. We come and talk to all your people. We look at where you are, what your core competencies are, where you are in the marketplace, you're competitive. We interview people. We run workshops. We engage with your stakeholders and your people. And obviously, as you realize, that is quite, well, it's a very comprehensive process. It's time consuming. And of course, it's relatively expensive. You know, big companies can do this and they do it and they pay for it willingly, and it's a great way of engaging people and really getting back on track. But what we realized in our work was that there were a lot of smaller, leaner organizations, and I think there are an awful lot of lean organizations around these days post-COVID, that they were finding it difficult to justify spending this money, and they didn't know where to start doing it themselves. So they weren't really benefiting from any brand expertise and were just muddling along. So we put our thinking caps on, and we like a bit of a challenge, and we wanted to come up with a solution for this, and we did. So we've come up with a solution, which is we're able to do because of the technology today, the technology which allows me to speak to you from the UK in Ghana, is the online. We've created an online system which combines our knowledge and experience of brands and how to do brand definition, and allows people to put in their own unique information themselves and work out how they can create and what would be the best brand definition for them. So therefore it's affordable to anyone and everyone. And it's called What's Your Purpose? And that's just a snapshot of it. And what it does is it helps you stand out. It'll help you create your unique marketing communication strategy to ensure that you are communicating the right content to the right people consistently. It'll give you the brief for all your brand identity, website, marketing materials, advertising, and it helps you create that compelling brand narrative and set of key messages which you need in order to have the right content for your marketing initiatives. And the great thing about it is, if you've ever tried to Google brands, you will see online there's so much information, there are so many books, there's so many, and they don't all agree, everybody has their own opinion. You don't need any of that, because it has completely full instructions, loads of tips and examples, and it's in 4 simple steps. And they're all based around, you can just see in the background here, and worksheets, which are self-completion. You put things in with all the guidance notes that you need right at your fingertips. And I'd like to say it's perfect for anyone. It is, everyone and anyone. But, you know, bigger businesses will probably use consultancies, but it's certainly, if they've got a busy marketing department, We've got a very large one, which would work for them. We've got a smaller one for smaller businesses, SMEs and startups. In fact, we're doing a lot of work with the Manchester Growth Hub here in the UK at the moment, going through these with a lot of their startups, and they're finding it really useful. We've also got a version for charities, both big and small. And so really it does help lean organizations get the information they need and the expertise they need in order to really create that strong brand, which is so important for commercial success. And just to leave you with a testimonial, as all good marketeers will do. We just got the one in here from somebody. She was an artist actually, and she found she had all these fantastic creative ideas, but trying to get them all aligned and focused into one coherent statement was quite tricky, but she found this really, really helpful because it helped her to articulate what she was really trying to achieve and how she could stand out and get everything aligned with her aims and ambitions. So there we go. It was a quick run through what a brand is, how important it is, how to underline success, and how you can do one yourself for a very modest, a much, real, you know, 20th of the price of getting consultants. So thank you very much for listening to me. I am going to stop sharing and come back and go on mute. And I think Ruby will be doing questions later. Is that right, Ruby? Or
That's correct.
Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you, Fenella. That was a wonderful presentation. I will now hand over to Odelia Ntiamoah. She is CEO of Media Africa in Ghana. Odelia will help position your brand in the media so you can now, you can own your own media messages as a team. She will also speak on how you can make your brand attractive for free media publicity, both locally and internationally. Odelia, the floor is yours.
Thank you, and good afternoon to everybody. I recently got promoted in my company, so I'm currently the Group CEO for SMB Group, and we have many businesses under our company. I am trying to move the cursor. Just a moment.
If you're having any challenge, then we can maybe project it for you. Is that okay?
Yes, please do.
Okay. Cesar, if you can help from your end, please. Then please stop sharing and then we can project it.
I'll do that.
Hi, Ruby, I can help. Just give me a second, please.
Sure, Cesar. Odelia, all you have to do is just tell him next and then he'll go to the next slide for you.
That's fine.
Bad connection right now, but I'm gonna be working on that.
Cesar, do you have the presentation?
Yes, I have it, Doug. I'm having a trouble with my laptop right now. I'm trying to, it's been very slow, so sorry for that. I'm not sure right now.
Okay, your voice is coming in and out.
I've got Odelia, unless you changed it, Odelia. I've got it on my system here if you want me to share and do it for you. Okay, I'll try share again.
Oh, cool.
Hang on 1 second. Let's see, I probably won't be able to find it this time.
I have it up. Can you see it?
Oh, sorry, it's not. Is that all right? Can you see mine, or do you want to go back to Cesar? I don't mind.
Yeah, it's fine. Let's go.
Just tell me when you want me to move on then, Odelia.
Okay, no.
It's once again the global tribe constantly helping.
It's actually my screen what's showing, I think.
Oh, is it? Oh,
Yes, it is. It is.
Okay.
mine select all. Oh.
You're good to go, Odelia.
Thank you, everybody. So just like Fenella spoke about, once you have developed your brand, you are looking at what the media is interested in, what the media will give you publicity for, how the media is going to accept the information you're sharing about your brand. So I decided to put a few things that will catch media attention quickly once your brand is up. Financial information, sometimes connecting to government. And so if your brand has any business connecting to government and you have some good financial information, it's good space where people would like to listen to you. Parliamentary information, political information at national level, businesses making waves, businesses into innovation. Of course, if there's some crime connecting to your business, people will be interested in that as well. And then globally, everybody's talking about sustainability. And so that's also one area that the media is interested in. The next slide, please. Great. So there are so many things that the media is known for that a lot of people do not know about. That in every single year, the media sets up its strategic thrust. One single thing the media will be known for the year. Where I used to work with, every single year, the strategic thrust was dependent on the corporate direction that the company wanted to go through. So for example, for between 2020 up to 2022, the strategy was that everything we do as a media house should go digital first. And the concentration was there from the very top of management, as the CEO, up to even the security person. Everybody knew that we want to go digital first. Based on that, what we're saying is that once you know the strategic thrust of the company, you should be able to align your activities as a brand to suit some of these strategic thrusts so that you can get some free publicity. We also observe that a lot of people who have brands doing technical things, like for example, in Africa currently, one of the most engaging conversations going on now is on the continental free trade. But several journalists, several people find it very technical. They do not understand. But this also has to still go out there to reach the people that matters the most. Are you going to just do a simple press conference that is just you and journalists sharing technical information, which they may not have all the information on? No. So my recommendation is that once you know your brand is technical, you want it to reach the people in the language and of course in the tone that you really want it to get to them. It will be better for you to have a live event. And so some clients that we have advised to do live events have spent so much money afterwards doing separate live events because they see that their brand and what they are communicating has some level of technicality. Journalists may not break it down the way they want it, and they have the ability to reach the people that they require. Then it's also very important when people send their content from their brands to the media houses, what they are looking at immediately is, I want to cut down on cost. And so for them, any airtime goes, and of course, if it is cheaper, it's better. No, that's not true. It will be better to find out from the media house. You let the media house know that this is your target audience. Where does my target audience sit? And how do I reach them? That is one of the critical questions you should ask before spending. When you do not know where your target audience sit and the media house just chooses for you because you have brought them money, which you think you have gotten a cheaper offer, you're likely not to get the effect you're looking for. So ask for the target audience and spend your money targeting your target audience and not just anybody. And then the media will sponsor based on, of course, their strategic thrust, based on some critical national issues that sort of encapsulates everybody, sort of takes a look at everybody. These are the things the media is interested in sponsoring. Then most of the time people get carried away and they get to offer sensitive information, which the company may not later be able to defend, and will spend so much money trying to close the gap. And I heard one of that from Fenella right now. So do not offer sensitive information as much as possible. Stick to the script. And this, I'll say that your company together with your team should really agree on what goes out, what you keep to your chest, so that you do not spend so much money defending your brand. And then make friends and offer training. Now, this is a critical thing that media people look out for. They are looking for people within the corporate space to make friends with. Of course, they are proud to say that I know the MD for so-and-so bank. I know this person and that person. Quite apart from that, they are also interested in being offered training. And so if your organization can lead thought leadership conversations in that particular space, you find yourself for media people. It's very, very important. Next slide, please. Great. So after you have created your brand and you have thought of going into the media space, you are asking yourself, what can you do to create a buzz for yourself? So either on social media or on traditional media, you should look at some of the things you can do to create a buzz. So before Instagram, for example, launched, one of the key things they did was to find local media, share with them what this app was all about, and then local media immediately started writing about what the new craze about Instagram. Then they went ahead to share the app with photographers who could easily put up their photography on Instagram. And that is how the brand just caught fire. And so you want to find out exactly where do my target audience sit and how can I create a buzz. Then you should also use social media and of course traditional media to have a lot of thought leadership programs, put together thought leadership events. Those are key things that can also create a buzz around you. So I'm sure somebody will ask, what are thought leadership programs? So they are basically events, communication, short videos, generally information about a particular field that you're in and how you seem to be the master of that particular field. Once you are able to do that and share your thought leadership content, even with the media, it sort of gives you some free publicity, because on a constant basis, media people are looking for content. So strategize in such a way that you can attract such media content in the area of thought leadership. Then research, especially in Africa, where on a constant basis, we want to pour out data because data is not in such abundance. It will be very good if, for example, your brand targets research in that particular field that really goes out. This particular research that we have currently put out is 100 most influential brands on social media in Ghana. We started off with 10 most influential brands within the banking space on social media. And we've garnered a lot of buzz for our new company. We got calls from almost all the banks. We got calls from the central bank, the Bank of Ghana, asking us for the modalities, asking us for the details of the content for the research, asking us that they would want to buy the insights. And so That is also one critical thing you can do for your brand. Then you can also decide to write books. These are so valuable. And then you can decide to also do some magazines and share to your target audience. The next slide, please. Great. So barter, partnerships, and press call. A lot of times, media people are looking for partners, especially in thought leadership programs, in diverse things that your brand is known for. Look out for media partnerships, and the media will be interested, especially if whatever you're doing directly targets what the media house sets out to do for the year. You're sure to definitely get some partnerships. And I've spoken about that in previous slides. And then banking, oil and gas, you can quickly find yourself about 10 strong media houses, get the journalists, put them together into a team. And then, of course, you share company information with them. If you're a government organization, share company information with them. This will earn you some good free media publicity that ideally you wouldn't have been paying for. Then, of course, training, scholarships also are great opportunities where media houses can keep writing about your brand. The next slide, please. Next slide, please. Great. So I decided to throw this in for all of you because CSR, ESG have become serious conversations that every organization globally is becoming interested in. Everybody wants to know how your business is responsible in the society that you are in. I put this picture here to show you a company that stumbled on fortune. So this company in Ghana is a petroleum company called Zen Petroleum. They started off their business going about sending fuel tankers to people who wanted to buy fuel from them. What they observed was that when they gave fuel tankers to their male workers, it came back always with shortage, money issues, and virtually challenges. So they decided to pilot using some females to send these fuel to their various destinations, and the results were better. The company decided then to switch over completely to using females to project, of course, to send their fuel to various parts of the country. And guess what? Almost every single month, they get an international media from the BBC, CNN, Al Jazeera coming to their institution to write about the great things that they are doing. So in doing your CSR, you want to find out whether your catchment area is either domestic, national, or international. And I'm sure that what Zen Petroleum is trying to do is to get international investments into their business, and they have chosen a CSR that is doing just that for them, giving them international attention. So find out where your audiences sit, where you want to go in the next 5 years, and find out if you want your CSR to target either your domestic level or your community level media, or your national level media, or your international media. Of course, internationally, ESG is important. Internationally, sustainable conversations are important. And so you can focus your energies on that. Domestically, for example, in Ghana, a lot of the mining companies, looking at their stakeholders, spend a lot of their attention on domestic or their community radio stations because they really want to get to their stakeholders. So it depends on whatever you're doing. You can connect it also to some projects that your presidency is doing. And based on that, you can get the presidency back in your CSR. And that can also give you some very good national attention. The next slide. So Media Toolkit. This simply is putting a bit of information about your company and sharing it out there, with the media. So your concentration mainly should be on the unique selling point of the business. And then, of course, your company information. If you are into some level of sustainability, do that. If your company has won some great financing from all over the world, you can put that one out also in your presentation. And then you can also talk about your product and what is making your product really have a great differentiator, or what makes it unique. So once you put this document together, you can put it in a PowerPoint form with very colorful stuff, and you can just share it out there to the various media houses. It will surprise you that you can get some online articles, and you can also get some radio interviews afterwards. And so this is also very important. Even on your social media page, you can share some of this information, and it will surprise you how you can get some international calls on some projects you are working on that they'll be willing to give you free coverage on. The next slide. Great. So once you're done, I'm sure you will gain some interviews from various media houses, that's traditional media, and even on social media. You have to be really prepared, especially if your business has like more than one founder. That's if it's a startup, or if it's a corporate institution that is big. You need to find who will represent the company and represent the company well. Now, if you have two co-founders, one is articulate and understands the issues, I think that it will be good to rather put your best foot forward. And then when it comes to the journalists who will conduct that interview, it will be good to find out in advance what that journalist, what their work is like, how detailed are they, what kind of questions do they ask? And if you have a contact, you can reach out to them even before the interview. Then prepare your Q&A. Tell the media exactly what they need to know, not more than that, not too much information that you put out there that will hurt your brand finally. If you are able to get some questions in advance or some synopsis, it works out just fine. It will be good for you to practice your answers if you are the one speaking for your brand by just sitting together with your team. They will play the devil's advocate. They will ask the questions, and then you will give the answers. Then it will be great if you get to the studio to ask, which camera am I looking into? Because sometimes you notice that people who are going on TV for the first time sometimes look confused because they really don't know which place to look at. It would be good if you asked the crew, which camera do I look into? And then do not provide answers you are not too sure about. It will be better if you say, I am not sure, and they go on to the next question than try to answer and not look so great. Remember, it's about your brand, and people will buy also your confidence. And so if you are not too confident about the answer, let them move on to the next one. Next slide. Thank you, and I hope this has been helpful. Let me know if there are any more questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Odelia, for your contribution. Very insightful. Ingrid,
Welcome.
are you back?
I am back. Sorry for the challenges I've been going through. Thank you so much, Odelia. Thank you so much, Fenella. Despite I have missed a little bit of both presentations, from what I have been able to catch, I have summarized both of them into two main bullet points. The first one would be a brand is a promise that needs to be kept. I love that part. And then the importance of knowing where our target audience sits, otherwise we are not going anywhere. So both of you, thank you so much. Now I'm sure most of our guests, they would like to benefit from this opportunity to ask questions. I think there are already a couple of questions in the chat box, Robbie.
Indeed. You want me to read them out?
Yes, please. I have no access. I'm sorry. I'm really having challenges.
Okay, that's all right. So the first one is, how does marketing and branding differ in the UK and Ghana? So ladies, I don't know who want to take that.
Well, my problem with answering that is I know marketing in the UK, but I'm so far a novice, although I'd like to learn more about marketing in Ghana. But
share the UK story then.
Okay, well, I think the UK story, well, I think marketing is what I was going to say is I think the principles of marketing are true wherever you are, that what you need to do, and it's not a quick fix. And I think that's the problem. I think also another problem is we have great access to social media, but marketing is more than social media. It's just one element of it. And the important thing is to make sure you get your strategy, by which I mean your strategic thinking about what you want to say, who you're targeting, what makes you different, how you stand out from your competitors first, and then you are forensic about applying that to every piece of communication that you have. And I would say that in Ghana, you should do that as well as you do in the UK.
Thank you. Odelia, you want to add to that?
Yes, I would like to. Within my short marketing experience with my former office, I noticed that I used to be able to sell more than even the people within the marketing department because I understood my product. And so once you understand your product very well, you should be able to sell to anybody. In fact, if you didn't want to buy media, I could actually sell you media without you noticing. And so understand your product in and out so that once you are asked, you are not fluffing all over the place and you're not looking like you didn't really put that kind of product together. And that should be able to help you through whatever business you're doing.
Great. Okay, so the second question, could you each talk about the process for fully understanding the value offered in each market, then how to message it? I don't know if you got that.
Please read the question again.
Okay, so could you each talk about the process for fully understanding the value offered in each market, then how to message it? I don't know. I think, Doug, wait, was this question from you? I can't remember where I picked it from.
Sorry for not being clear. Yeah, so for marketers in the audience, you know, one of the great fun things about marketing is like, what product do we have? And now I want to move it into different markets. And so how do I really understand what's there, why the different markets would value it, and then what should I be thinking about in terms of messaging? You talked about universal messaging, but then there's specific messaging for specific markets, right? So how does that get balanced? And so sorry for too complicated of a question, probably.
Do you want me to go first, or do you want to go first, Odelia?
Okay, I could, since I've started. Sorry. This morning I got a phone call from a big company in Nigeria into media that wants to come into Ghana to do some business. Now, immediately I spoke to the gentleman. I said, you have close to 200 million Nigerians whom you can sell to. And Ghana is a small market compared to Nigeria. In relation to the corporate space, that's even much smaller as compared to the Nigerian market. And so you definitely have to know the market you are going into and then do a bit of market research. It will be very good, for example, if you were coming into Ghana, you had spoken to GIPC. GIPC is the Ghana Investment and Promotion Center. They will be able to share with you some market insights. There are a lot of marketing organizations that you can also reach out to. It will be great to get some market insights before you come into the market. For Ghana, for example, if you were coming here to come and set up a media company, I will say that do not do anything in the political space. It's so choked that it's no longer funny. But when it comes to the space of, let's say, business, it is quite a novelty. It's new, and people want different sort of solutions. And so that is also like a space you can take a look at. And so market insights, getting to know even local people who can support in making sure that this can be done is very important.
Okay, thank you. I totally agree. You must understand your local market. But I think, most good brands, and if you think of somebody like HSBC, the bank, they follow what I would call a global local strategy. So they have certain parts of their strategy which apply everywhere, but they make nuances in different environments, countries, areas to take account of the needs, the cultures, what goes on in that country. So yes, research is very important, both with the institutions like Odelia was talking about, but also getting to know the people on the ground. What do they need? How do they interact with products like yours, or how could they? What are they looking for? What benefits can you bring, which are part of your overall benefits, but also specific to that area, and also I think wording and communication, language is very important, how we talk. I mean, even just a little aside, I had my presentation, I showed it to Ruby, and she told me, oh, you can't use that bird because there are certain issues with the particular bird I had within Ghana. So, that's a cultural nuance which you need by talking. And I think you only get that by really relating to and getting to know and having people on the ground who you can really work with. I hope that answered your question, Doug.
Thank you. I think we have another question from Paul Mensah. He says, in the case of a barter, how in practical scenario can a media outlet take advantage of it to expand their brand, as well as the organization benefits the full package of a wider client coverage? I think this will be for Odelia, because you did mention, so if you want to take that, please.
Yeah, please read the question again. I got a call from Bloomberg, sorry. I can't hear you. Ruby,
Paul,
I can't
would you want to turn on your microphone and ask the question directly? Paul Mensah, are you there? Otherwise, I have to look for the question again. I've lost it.
Yes, I'm here. Hello.
Go ahead, Paul. Paul, the floor is yours. Take it away. Oh, looks like we've lost. Looking for the question now.
If not, I have the question here. It says, in the case of a barter, how in practical scenarios can a media outlet take advantage of it to expand their brands, as well as the organization benefit the full package of a wider client coverage?
Great. So recently I did a presentation with the BBC, sharing with some media owners on looking for some viable spaces where you can make a lot of money. And so one of the key things for a media house that I think you should be concentrating on is pushing for live events. Now, once people come to you for live events, they will spend, and they will spend big time. And then also you can also push for your team to understand the business. And so for the company I used to work for formerly, you as a reporter understood the business. And so you were not just a reporter, but when you went out there, you represented the brand in sharing about what the brand does. Then, of course, structure as to how you can compartmentalize your needs as a media house. We went into a barter trade with a company that was selling iron rods. And so if you're now putting up like the state of art head office after operating for some time, you can actually barter out with an iron rods company, a cement company, you know, because you have tons of airtime sitting there that does not get used as and when time goes on. Airtime yesterday cannot be retrieved. And so it would be good if you parted out some of that for your needs. Once you're able to compartmentalize that and look at where a lot of your revenue goes into in terms of your spending, you can actually better out some of that. Internet is one of the things that we need on a constant basis as a media company. Better that one out, give them airtime in exchange for training, cybersecurity, become one of the big areas that is very needful for every media house. Butter it out. Before I left the company, I had just signed a barter with a company called Innovari in Ghana that had done that sort of exchange worth $50,000, you know, and they're a cybersecurity company. And so those are some of the things you can do as a brand.
Very good. I think we don't have any other question. I don't know if any of you would like to throw the last question. If not, I believe we have a little bit of time now to network among all of us. Ruby?
Yes, do we have any more questions? I'll encourage you to use the reaction button, raise your hand, and then we can call you to take the floor.
If not, maybe we could go ahead with the networking session.
I think Charles Atia's hand is up.
Yes, Charles, take it away.
Good afternoon.
Your question.
Good afternoon. Thank you for the wonderful presentation. We are running a small business. We just started some few years back, producing granola and breakfast cereals. We have good products and we want to grow the brand, but we have a limited budget. Resources are limited. So how do we achieve that brand development in the Ghanaian space? How do we utilize the media to grow our brand with limited resources?
Yeah, so I'm smiling because there was a young man who had the same business case as you are mentioning. What I advised him to do was to consistently feed the morning show hosts of the station every morning with breakfast. Once they were filled with the food and it's nice, they will talk about it. And that actually got done for this gentleman who also had a cereal package for Joy, and his business is thriving. So you may not even have to pay money. All you just need to do is send some of your products to the company and in exchange for airtime. Just find the person who can make that happen for you. Once you find the person, it's a done deal.
Okay.
Yeah, and of course, I mean, that's very specifically to the media, which is a great idea, but clearly you need to get all your messages out there and be promoting them on social media, wherever you can, giving it away free, getting a lot of interest. There are lots of things you can do. You just need to brainstorm some things which are going to give you high impact, which are on your brand mission, but will get you noticed by people. And I think there are lots of things you can do.
Thank you.
Thank you, Charles. I think we have more hands up. Nima, if you want to ask your questions, go ahead.
Hi, everyone. Good morning. In Phoenix, Arizona, it's morning. So really excited to be with you guys and listen to the conversation here. So I've been a technology lawyer for over a decade. And my question to you guys is, how do I, as a lawyer in the US, help bring brand awareness to big companies in America for nonprofit causes across the African region? That's my question. And because I've had clients reach out that were nonprofits in Africa, and this was a major concern they had proper dialogues with NGOs and public-private entities about creating schools, creating sustainable businesses in every industry, but they feel like they're being unheard by the largest corporations in the world. So how do we start that dialogue? I'd love to hear from you guys.
That's one of the things, the expression, you can take a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. If there are people who will not listen, it is very difficult. And you have to go around, and it's a big PR and kind of media exercise, and it's slogging away with everybody coming in from every point to show them the value of it. I think, on a smaller scale, what you can do is work out what the benefits are, not just in terms of CSR, but how it's going to help, and really get the messaging right, and then get on social media and write and direct to those people. You can run conferences, you can run PR, get-togethers online. You just have to spread the word. But, if people are in big corporate law firms and they don't want to listen to the message, it is quite hard to do that. But it is about increasing that volume and sticking to your story and sticking to the benefits that it will offer. And I mean all the benefits, not just very simple ones, but every kind of benefit for the organization, for the people involved, for the beneficiaries, for everybody, and even at a corporate and strategic country level. But yeah, people won't listen. It is hard. You have to be
amazing. Thank you.
Focused.
Thank you. Can we have Judge Fuga next, please? George, are you there? If not,
Yeah, thank you very much, Madam Ruby Golo, and thank you all the presenters. This is not a question per se, but just to add to the presentation. Yes, hello, I'm here. Please, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Can you hear me? Hello, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Hello? Hello, please, can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Okay. Please go ahead.
We are Judge Fuga, and we're market researchers. This is not a question. Yes, just to add to the presentation, that for us to have strong brands, risk of our strengths and our weaknesses, to know how we as a company or as a brand, how we're faring. Then we do an external analysis to know what's competition, how exactly our brand is doing, and then we can come out with a strategy. Thank you very much.
Thank you, George, for your contribution. Can we have Lanza Lawrence?
I hope you get me.
Thank you for the opportunity. I hope you can hear me, please.
Loud and clear.
Okay, thank you. I just want to say thank you for your presentations. And my question is, I have a youth organization called the Movement for Youth Development in Ghana, and it's been a little bit challenging for us to partner with some prominent stakeholders. But my question is, what does the media expect from people, organizations such as myself, in order to create partnerships and in order to promote the common agenda? Thank you.
So my question to you also is, what does your youth organization, what do you guys do?
Okay, so basically what we do is we create projects aimed at developing the capacity of young people. So currently what we are trying to organize is a leadership and mentorship program among universities in Ghana. So basically, all our projects are geared towards youth capacity building.
Okay.
Yeah,
There are so many youth capacity building programs currently that are ongoing. There are some that is being done by government itself, and there are some that are being done by other individuals. So the question you should ask is, what is your unique selling point? What makes your project unique? What makes your project not just like one of those? Once you are able to really tell what makes your project different, I will say that you should be able to partner with NEIP, for example, NEIP. You can also partner with the government's, the presidency's SDG office, Eugene. I mean, after this, I've shared my contact. I can give you contacts to all these spaces. But the most important thing, like I said at the beginning, is know your brand, what you're selling, and what makes it unique. Is it something that is solving some youth challenge that we currently have, connected to national policies, connected to national conversations, and push it out there? Once you are able to situate it for it to become a national issue, you definitely will get national attention.
I think your answer is very brief, but very, very important, and I appreciate that so much.
Welcome.
Okay, thank you. Do we have any more questions? I don't know if I've called everyone. If not, please draw my attention. Okay, I think we do have a very good number of attendants today. We at Global Chamber, we believe in networking. So we want to, spend some time in a breakout room so that we can introduce ourselves, so that we can get to know each other better, so that we can help support our businesses. So Cesar, if you are there, can you break us into various rooms so that we can continue the networking from there? Thank you.
Yes, sure. Rooms are ready, so I'm just gonna open them, and feel free to connect people, exchange details, connect on LinkedIn, and take it from there. Thanks, Ruby.
Cheers. Hi, Caesar. Is it possible to move me to another room?
Yes, sure. What room were you in?
I was in the room with my colleague and Isaac. So I don't remember the name, but if you can find another one.
Okay, I'm gonna send you one that has only 3 people in.
Yes.
Okay.